This is the story history forgot. This is the lost chapter. Japan, 1274. For centuries, the samurai knew their way of war. It was a ritual, a dance of honor, single combat. Arrows announced with a proud shout, a code they called Bushido. But the horizon this day brings something they have never seen, something they do not understand. This is not an army, it is a storm. They are the Mongols, masters of the largest land empire in human history, and they have come for Japan. For the first time, the samurai will face an enemy who does not fight with honor. He fights to win. To understand the shock of this collision, we must first understand the two forces hurtling toward each other. In the east, the samurai of Japan. For them, war was ikiuchi, a series of individual duels. A samurai would ride out, announce his name, his lineage, his heroic deeds, and challenge a worthy opponent on the other side. Victory was personal glory. It was theater. And in the west, the Mongol war machine under Kublai Khan. Their philosophy was simple: total war. They were masters of mobility, psychological terror, and combined arms. They didn't care about your lineage. They cared about your submission. Kublai Khan sent envoys to Japan, demanding surrender. The Japanese shogun's reply? He had the envoys' heads cut off. The message was received. The invasion was now inevitable. In November 1274, the Mongol fleet, carrying nearly 15,000 soldiers, landed at Hakata Bay. The samurai, expecting a call for single combat, were met with a wall of sound. The Mongols advanced behind massive shields in tight units. Their drums beat a constant, terrifying rhythm. And then the arrows fell. Not the high-arcing, whistling arrows of the samurai. These were short, iron-tipped projectiles fired in dense volleys, designed to punch through armor. But the true horror was a new weapon: Tetsuhao, the iron bomb. The Mongols hurled primitive gunpowder bombs from catapults. The explosions tore through the samurai ranks, not just killing men, but shattering their very understanding of warfare. This was not a fight, it was a slaughter. The samurai were forced to abandon their code. They fell back, resorting to desperate, close-quarters night raids on the Mongol ships, the only form of combat where their skill with the katana gave them an edge. And then, after a day of brutal fighting, the Mongols did something inexplicable. They retreated to their ships. That night, a legendary typhoon, the Kamikaze, or Divine Wind, sank a third of the Mongol fleet. Japan was saved, but not for long. 7 years later, Kublai Khan returned. This time, with an armada of over 4,000 ships and a force of up to 140,000 men, the largest seaborne invasion force in history until D-Day. But Japan had learned its lesson. The shogunate had ordered the construction of a massive stone wall around Hakata Bay, a defensive line that still stands today. The battle became a grueling siege. The Mongols, trapped in their ships, were sitting ducks for samurai raiders. For nearly 2 months, the samurai waged a war of attrition, and then another typhoon struck, obliterating the Mongol fleet. The Kamikaze had saved Japan again. The Mongols never conquered Japan, but they forever changed it. The constant threat of invasion bankrupted the shogunate, which could not reward its samurai as promised, leading to internal strife. Samurai warfare was never the same. The romantic era of the lone warrior was over. They began to adopt mass tactics, greater discipline, and a new appreciation for defensive fortifications. And the myth of the divine wind cemented the idea of Japan as a shinkoku, a divine land protected by the gods. This belief would echo through Japanese culture and politics for centuries to come. The samurai versus the Mongols was more than a battle. It was a clash of worlds, a confrontation between a culture of individual honor and an empire of collective might. It was a brutal lesson that changed the soul of the samurai, forging them into the disciplined, strategic warriors we remember today. It was a fight for survival that gave Japan its most powerful national myth, and it remains one of history's most dramatic what-if scenarios. This has been the Lost Chapter. Some battles are not just fought for land, but for the future of a culture itself.